report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Heather D. Tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome back to another Fish Report Live, our first episode of the spring sports season. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. We're your co-host back in the sound room. Two guys we like to call TK and Heavy D. We're going to be joining them here in just a few minutes. And Ken, you ready to talk some spring sports?
Absolutely, Craig. It's great to be back on. You know, it's good to have the sound room guys back. We got a full audience in our studio tonight as well, so you'll probably hear them once in a while. And, you know, Craig, the grass is getting greener, the weather's getting warmer out there, and it's that time of year, and it's refreshing to be out there at the ball diamond, at the track meets, and, really looking forward to talking to spring sports for the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, over the winter, we spent 15 weeks talking about basketball only, and here in the spring, we got all kinds of options with softball, baseball, track and field. Going to make it kind of a girls' night tonight, though, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Craig. Really looking forward to our interview, Craig. We're going to have last year's Division IV OHSAA State Coach of the Year, Craig. She's from Russia, and that's Michelle Muhlenkamp. Has the Lady Raiders obviously stacked for the tough Shelby County Athletic League again this year, Craig. She's in her 4th season as the head coach of the Raiders. Like I said, she was last year's D4 State Coach of the Year. Really looking forward to talking to Coach Muhlenkamp, Craig. Also going to talk a lot of girl track and field tonight as we kind of review some of the things that happened over at the Lady Tiger Classic over in Versailles. We'll talk about some of the teams from the MAC, the CCC, and the Shelby County League.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about all that stuff, Ken. Excited about all the spring sports we're going to be talking about. We'll do some boys next week. But one thing I'm not real excited about, something that's kind of developed this year, is a real lack of, area junior varsity or JV softball and baseball teams, which happens to be the subject of tonight's poll question.
I think it's a great poll question tonight, Craig. We're going to ask our viewers, and they can help us decide, Craig. But what is the reason for the lack of Shelby County Athletic League JV baseball and softball teams this year? Is it because more kids are doing track and field? Is it more kids are playing AAU, JO, and lifting weights for football? Is it basically kids are doing nothing? Or is it for some other reason? I would be really interested to see what our viewers have to say out there, because this is a very alarming thing, Craig, when you look at some very top-notch softball and baseball programs out there that don't have JV teams, and kind of makes you wonder what these kids are all doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just one of those years or what, but I'm sure our sound room guys will have an opinion on that too, so we'll check in with them at the end of the show on that very topic.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's get things started, Ken, and like I said, it's kind of a girls' night tonight, our first show of the spring sports season. I want to bring in the sound room guys now, bring them into the picture here, and we'll do a little brief preview of the local area track and field, talk about a few teams or a few individuals we want to keep our eyes on. And guys, got a chance to see a number of girls teams get underway this past Saturday at the Lady Tiger Classic over there in Versailles. The boys actually got underway a few days later. But we're going to talk about the girls tonight, and I want to ask what teams or what individuals you were impressed with. Ken, we'll start out with you. Let's start out with the MAC.
Well, Craig, when we start with the MAC, you have to, of course, start with Minster and Versailles, two of the dominant programs in the history of the sport across the state of Ohio, actually. Minster, they both won their select divisions over there at the Lady Tiger Classic. And, both off to really strong starts. Individually, Craig, from Minster, you got Savannah Luthman. She won the shot put in the disc. She's attempting to become a 4-time state qualifier for the Wildcats over there at Minster. Also, sophomore Madeline Magato, Craig. She won the 800. She was actually the only athlete in the Versailles Lady Tiger Classic there to break a new meet record. So she got off to a nice start. Also from Marion Local, sophomore Audrey Toby did very well winning the long jump. I think the Toby name there, Craig, that's probably some relation, probably a sister.
Absolutely. Yep.
And, they've also got New Bremen also had a very good long jumper and freshman Macy Putoff. So pole vault, Craig, also very exciting. New Bremen had a junior, Celeste Kunk, and Versailles senior Jenna Frantz, who both cleared 10'6". So a lot of exciting, a lot of very good athletes over there in the MAC, Craig. And again, headed by Versailles and Minster. But don't count out some of these individuals from Marion and New Bremen and some other local schools.
Yeah, the MAC's just got athletes, guys, and they seem to come up with every team seems to have a girl or two that seems to advance pretty far in the postseason. And as you mentioned, Ken, Minster, just awfully tough. And I'm excited, even though I'm a Shelby County fan, excited to see what they're capable of this year. TK, I know we watched them last year over there at the state meet, and they're impressive year in, year out. So, TK, let's talk about maybe another conference, the CCC. They've always got some strong competition over there. What do you think about the CCC this year?
Yeah, Craig, always somebody in the CCC is running well. Typically, it's the Buccaneers, and again, this year they're running well, and maybe even better than they have been in quite a while. The girls over there placed second in the black division behind Versailles, so a strong competition that they came up against, but only got second, but a real good showing. Talk about some other individuals, two seniors, Anna Dunn, the perennial distance runner from Covington. She was very good in the 1600, actually the fastest time of the day in either division, black or orange. So nice to see her coming back in the spring and running well. Natalie Snyder, the other senior, she was the fastest in 100 hurdles of either division, so we got a theme going there. You get to the juniors, Raina Horner and Brianna Kimmel, also fastest in their respective races. So Raina in the 400 also broke 60, the only one to break 60 seconds in that. And Kimmel was the fastest all day in the 200. And then not only are they running, now they've got somebody chucking some junk. So doing well all the way across. So sophomore Laura Christian won both the disc and the shot put. So they've got it all pretty much covered there. Buccaneers fans have to be pretty excited about this season as they start out quite well, win all those areas with those girls. So that's nice to see for Covington. And as I said, always good. But this year looking really strong right out of the gate. Another one that we're always watching is sophomore Carmen Knepp from Bradford. Been watching her since her freshman year when she came on the scene and won a lot of nice races or was placing very high. This time in the 16 and the 3200, she was the fastest in, again, both divisions. 5:30 in the 16 and 12 flat in the 3200. Not anywhere near the records that Sonny Olding has over there, but times just as fast as any of the last 2 or 3 years. So a sophomore running really well, getting better every season we see her, and that's exciting to see. And I'm sure she's going to be getting close to some of those records before she's done there at Bradford.
Yeah, we just saw that picture of her against Emma Watke, a freshman over there at Minster, and Morgan Poole, I believe, a senior. And anytime you can beat some Minster girls in the mile or 2 mile, you're doing something. And she's very fun to watch. Watke made a charge at her in that race, that picture you just saw, and Knepp held her off, and very impressive. And yeah, of course, that Covington team, that's a team that won regional and cross country. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have the distance runners, but you're rattling off some sprinters they have and field event girls. So yeah, they're going to be one to watch as well. So something to look forward to in the CCC.
When it comes to district and regional championships, definitely, Russia always sets their sights on those particular titles. But you're right, that's definitely, you look at what they've got girls spread across the board there. Covington got a really nice team this year.
Yeah. And Heavy D, let's talk about the SCAL. Just Rushi and Houston was over there at Versailles this past Saturday, but got a little preview of what's to come and with those two teams.
Yeah, from a team perspective, Raiders started off strong. They finished second in the Orange Division, right behind Minster. The later Raiders have won the last 6 SCAL championships, so we expect them to be strong again this year. Looking at a couple of the individuals for the Raiders, we've got Rushi's senior Grace York. It's been fun to watch her mature over the years and really get her time down. Last year, for the Raiders, Grace went to the state in the 800. She took off that race on Saturday, and she ran in the 400 at Versailles, winning that race. Also look for junior Emily Bowman. She got off to a good start this year. Hit the highest mark of the day at 11 foot. That ties her record, the school record. Emily competed during the off season at different events in Ohio and out of state, and she'll be one to keep an eye on this season. Grace and Emily, probably two of the Rushie's biggest stars, but the Lady Raiders have a good, well-rounded group of girls running this year. Going to give them a lot of points from a lot of different areas, and they're going to be tough to beat. And one of the nice surprises, I've got to admit, a little bit surprised, but Houston sophomore Holly Voizard, winning the 800 run at the Orange Division over in Versailles. She was more of a 400 runner last year as a freshman, but she ran a pretty nice 2-minute 31 second for the 800 to get her season off to a quick start.
Yeah, you're right, Heavy D. She was a 400 runner last year, did well in the 800. I saw she actually ran a quad meet on Tuesday night up at Coldwater against Fort Laramie and Anna. In Coldwater as well, and won the 800 up there about the same time. But I'm a little surprised at that as well. But she's doing well. And Ken, there's been years that Rushie's had a lot of star power and done well. This year, again, as Heavy D mentioned, maybe not so much the star power. You got Grace York, of course, and Emily Bowman doing really well. But he's right. They got a lot of just really good girls that are going to score points for maybe not win any kind of titles, but they're going to do well.
Well, it's all about the team competition, Craig, when it's said and done, when it comes to Shelby County League championships, district championships, and such. So, but you're right. It's nice to have them, the star girls that you can count on. But, the other good way to go about it is just to have a lot of girls approaching it from different angles. I think they're going to be very competitive all year. Like we said before, I think Covington's going to be very strong. And watch for the Fort Laramie girls. Even though we haven't seen them yet, they're going to continue to improve. I know they really kind of came on late in the cross-country season, and I expect them to do the same during track.
Yeah, they got a lot of young talent over there. They did lose 3 big ones over there with Olivia Quinter, who was a good hurdler for them. They had this Andrea Meyer, who did pole vault for them last year, and then, of course, Rachel Schmidtmeyer was a distance runner for them. They kind of filled those spots up pretty quick with some very good freshmen. I saw Kennedy Gephardt, who's a freshman, did really well in some sprints last night at a quad meet. And then you got Paige Wraithman's a good distance runner for him, and just a lot of Alyssa Rassman, a girl that's is exceptional in the 100 hurdles. She's going to be one to keep your eye on. Very capable of winning a lot of races. Rassman is in that 100 hurdles. So a lot of fun, a lot of things to look forward to in girls track and field this year. And I can't wait for the season to get going here. Just a few teams have started, but as we roll into this weekend and on, everybody else is going to get going too.
Well, Craig, I've sat through a lot of spring track meets in my days, Craig, and I can tell you what, they're always a lot of fun, but they're a lot more fun when the sun's shining, the wind's not blowing, and it's 60 degrees.
Yeah.
I've been in them, Craig, when it was snowing, sleeting, raining, and hailing all at the same time, I think. So
yeah.
Hope you have good weather this year.
I hope so too. We're going to talk some softball a little later and some baseball, and I think the fans of those sports can agree with that too. It's no fun to sit there bundled up with a hood on when you're trying to watch your team playing out there in snow flurries and rain. So that's going to wrap it up for our track and field talk. We're going to take a short break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to talk some softball, including that interview with Rushie coach Michelle Muhlenkamp.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome back, folks, to Fish Report Live. It's an all-girls night tonight, Ken. Before the break, we were talking some track and field. Going to talk a little softball now, and the season just got started this past week, like track and field. I know we don't have much for standings right now, but let's take a quick look at our SCAL standings and see where we're at right now.
Well, Craig, it's never too late to look at the Shelby County Athletic League standings, and you got the two familiar names right up top. They're Fort Loramie and Russia, both 1-0 in the league. Fairlawn 1-0 as well. Jackson Center, they've yet to play, and then Anna Botkins and Houston all looking for their first win. So, like we said, very early, but the Russia Raiders, Craig, they're sitting at 1-0 in the league, 1-1 overall. They're the defending league co-champions from last year, and they're led by last year's Division IV state coach of the year, and that's Michelle Muhlenkamp, head coach of the Russia Raiders. She's in her fourth season, Craig, and we're happy to have her on the phone with us tonight.
Yeah, Coach, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Hi there.
Well, listen, first of all, before we get started, I got to say, for some of our viewers out there, they may not know this, but you're also a teacher, a sixth grade teacher over at Russia, and we happen to have we happen to have a couple of your students in the studio tonight. They told me they were talking to you today about your interview, and they said that this is getting close to your bedtime. So we don't want to keep you up real late tonight. We'll make it quick, all right?
Dang it. They called me out.
Well, listen, congrats on a good start. You're 1-1 right now. Had that first tough loss against Minster, but then you came back and beat the Shelby County co-champs from last year with you guys, Houston. I guess you're probably happy just to get 2 games in so far, considering it's March.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather actually has been really great this season. It was awesome because we were able to spend our first week of practice outside, which I feel like never happened. So that was a great start to the year.
We'll talk about those games a little bit, Coach. I mean, like I said, you had that tough loss to Minster to start the season out, but you bounced right back, beat Houston. What do you think about your performance after 2 games?
I'd have to say Saturday we definitely weren't ourselves as a team. You could tell we had some first game jitters, and we could not wake those bats up. So that was kind of a little bit disappointing. But then on Monday we bounced right back, and we had our game against Houston, which seemed like we were a totally different team out there. It was a great team win on Monday, and what was awesome was everybody contributed. We had 12 hits on Monday. We had an awesome defense behind Maddie's solid pitching. So, sometimes I think it just takes that gut check early in the season, and that's what Saturday was for us against Minster. And we had that little gut check, but it was awesome to come back Monday and have an 8-1 win over Houston.
Coach, hi, this is Ken, and let's talk a little bit about the pitching. Of course, it's always the focal point in any fast pitch game, but you got to have, it all starts with good pitching, and last year, you had Maddie Borchers, she was a senior this year, and also junior Grace Saunders did the bulk of your pitching last year. Can we expect to see the same this year from your team?
Yeah, absolutely, but I think these girls are going to come back even stronger this year. Both Maddie and Maddie and Grace work really hard every single day at practice, and I think they know as pitchers they're really the backbone of our team. So we expect them to bring their best stuff every single game. And Maddie and Grace, what's awesome about those two is they have really high expectations for themselves. So I think the two of them working together this year are really going to lead our team. So we're excited to see what those two can do for us.
Coach, let's talk about the offense a little bit. Of course, you got to score runs to win. And in the meat of your batting order right there, you've got last year All-Ohio returnee Maria Herron, who obviously does a great job for you behind the plate as well as offensively. And, let's talk about some of the other kids on your team and how do you like to move your offense? Do you consider yourself a power hitting team, or you like to try to steal a lot of bases, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, this year what's really cool about our team is we have an awesome dynamic. Maria, of course, is a fantastic player, but we have several others who we're kind of expecting to hit the ball hard and play well for us this year. Kylie Sherman had 2 doubles Monday night. So that was awesome to see. And then Jenna Cardonier, a sophomore, was about 2 inches away from hitting herself a home run Monday night against Houston. So, I think we have a lot of kids we're expecting to step up this year. And not only with hitting, but we have incredible speed on the base pads. So I really have stressed as a coach this year, smart, aggressive base running. So hopefully with all these things, will really result in a lot of collective team wins this year. So that's what I'm hoping, just wins where everybody contributed in one way or another.
Coach, I want to ask you about that smart base running. I was told at the Houston game the other night, I wasn't able to attend, but I was told that Lexi Monin kind of produced a run just by being aggressive on the base pads, something about the catcher dropping the ball. But fill me in on that a little bit. Is she an aggressive type of base runner?
Absolutely. We definitely look to Lexi Monin to kind of be that model for the team for aggressive base running. But smart aggressive base running is what we're talking about. So those girls that know when the ball hits the dirt, just take off, take that next base. I've always said this season, God says thou shalt not steal, but we can steal bases as the Russia softball team. So that's one thing we really talked about this year is taking that next base from the team if we can.
Coach, let's talk about a little bit about your duties as the head coach, and it's not only the day-to-day basis that you have in the spring with the team, but it's building a program. You're in your 4th year. You've done a fantastic job with the Russia fast pitch program, and but it's not just all with the high school kids. You have to really start it at the younger levels. And last Sunday was a perfect example of that, as you had some youth fast pitch training going on, I guess, at the gymnasium. Can you tell us a little bit about how that went, how many kids attended, and who were some of all your coaches and helpers there?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts about coaching is knowing that one day I'm actually going to get to coach the girls I've taught in class as 6th graders at Russia. So it was really cool. On Sunday, my assistant coaches and myself and a couple girls on the team now, we ran a short little parent and future player meeting. I'd say we had about 20 girls there, which was a great turnout, and several parents, maybe about 15 parents. We're at this meeting where we kind of work with the future Raiders, and we explain to their parents some of the drills that we do at our practices, some of our hitting and fielding and throwing philosophies. So hopefully one day those future Raiders can come to us and be really technically sound by the time they get to us at the varsity level. But what's really awesome and what I love to see as a coach is just having those parents who are willing to dedicate their time and help our future program. So I'm just very blessed here in Russia to have those parents who care, and I'm excited to someday have those 6th graders again a couple years down the line and get to coach them and have some fun with them out on the softball field.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask you one more question about the team. Ken and I are used to talking basketball here for the past 15 weeks. Had a lot of coaches on this show, and one thing we hear coaches talk about a lot is defense. And I want to ask you from a softball perspective, is defense something you emphasize, or is it all about getting on base and scoring runs, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think our game is all about scoring runs, who can put the runs across the plate. But I have stressed with my team the importance of defense. Our goal this year is 2 or less errors in a game, I think is kind of where I've set the bar, which is a high bar to set for high school softball. But I think if you have a solid defense behind your pitcher automatically feels more comfortable. She knows she can put the ball there, and even if they put the ball in play, the defense is going to get it done. So I think if you ask any of my players, they would say that at practice, we really push the defense and make them better, and just helping those girls believe that they can be better on the field defensively and get the job done. So, yeah, offense is really important, and we look to score a lot of runs every game. But I think, the game just goes well if you can play solid defense behind your pitcher. So I'm a true believer in the defense as well as the offense.
All right, Coach. Well, listen, it sounds like your Lady Raiders are going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. And for any Russia fans that are interested in coming out and seeing a game, I know you have a nice home stretch coming up here of games. Can you tell us when you play next or the remainder of this week?
Yeah, well, we're hoping if the weather holds out tomorrow night, which is looking a little better, we're supposed to play Jackson Center at home at 5 p.m., which should be a really great league game. And then Saturday we have a doubleheader versus Franklin Monroe. And every single year we battle it out. We battle it out with Franklin Monroe. So we're hoping for some good softball in the next few days.
Coach, listen, from all of us guys here at Fish Report, a couple of your students here in our studio tonight, we thank you for being
Yeah, I know who's there. Is Ross there?
We really thank you for being on our show tonight. Congratulations again on what you've done with this Russia program, and us Raider fans, we love having you in charge of that softball program, and just as importantly, we're really excited to know that we got you and your husband Craig settling in some finer roots into the Russia community, and we are
right.
really happy to have you as part of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks,
Coach.
All right, that was the head coach of the Russia softball team, Michelle Muhlenkamp. And Ken, I know we talked about this last year a little bit, but for folks that haven't been out to see softball, it's nonstop action, isn't it?
I enjoy going to the games, Craig. I don't get to many because I'm always on the baseball games, but the time that I do get a chance to go over and watch some fast pitch, Craig, it is upbeat. There's a lot of action. They're quick, and it's fun to watch. She
mentioned that no more than 2 errors in a game. That is a high goal. That's tough to do because it seems like that ball is always in play. Those girls get down the line so quick, and you got to be. You don't have time to bobble that ball around at all.
Nope, it is. It's good to watch.
All right. Well, that's about going to wrap it up for us tonight. We do have tonight's poll question, which I'm very interested in seeing what our viewers think about that poll question, and interested in hearing from maybe the sound room guys on that as well. Ken, why don't you read the poll question again for our viewers?
All right, for our viewers, excited to hear what they have to say about what is the reason for the lack of Shelby County Athletic League JV baseball and softball teams? Is it because more kids are doing track and field? Is it because more kids are doing AAU, JO, and practicing or lifting for football? Is it because more kids are simply doing nothing? Or is it for some other reason that we have not listed above? So TK and Heavy D, I'd like to get a few comments from you guys back here, see what you have to say, and then we'll go to our telemetrics and see what they're saying.
They always got an opinion, Ken.
Absolutely. Heavy D, what do you got for me?
I think probably option E would be playing something a waste of time like PlayStation 4 or Xbox.
Yeah. That we should have put that one up there as well. That'll fall into the other, I guess.
Exercising your thumbs on face chat or whatever they call it.
What about you, TK?
I'd have to go with the JO AAU football thing. I think it seems like more kids are specializing. There are not that many 3 sports, so you got a football and basketball, or basketball and baseball only, or something like that, where they're really not branching out and doing the 3 sports. Years ago, that's what everybody did. You always did your 3 sports. You weren't specializing in the spring in one thing or the other and staying away from the traditional sports. So I'd lean towards that direction.
I think that's very true. I saw a tweet from Jerry Snodgrass with the Ohio High School saying something about, instead of playing 40 AAU games this spring, why don't you go play one of the other spring sports, boys? That's a good point.
It's proven fact that college coaches look for multi-sport athletes. They're not looking for the athletes that only play basketball or only play baseball or only play football. They're looking for multi-sport athletes. These kids have to understand that. And, when they focus, you got really good athletes not playing softball or track and field or baseball. And they've got to support their school. And it's kind of sad to see the way a lot of this trend's going.
Well, what do our viewers think, TK? You got any results in the telemetrics?
Well, the telemetrics say that kids are doing nothing. 50% of those voting say kids are doing nothing. Which
I think
that means
Xbox.
they're playing Xbox.
Xbox falls under the nothing.
Yep.
So, all
right, good stuff, guys. Thanks for that. And with that's going to wrap it up for our show tonight. We do want to say special thanks to Coach Muhlenkamp for joining us. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, everyone, and good night.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish